toxic masculinity.
Let's see here. Baltimore prosecutor wants local news investigated because of Tucker Carlson. Yeah, this is weird. A lot of weird stories today. So let's get into this one. So this woman here, what's her name? Brendan Carr. No, that Brendan Carr is a senior Republican. Okay, that's not right. I don't know what her name is. I can't find it. What aren't they? Okay, here we go. Marilyn Mosby. Okay, so this woman is apparently Marilyn Mosby, and she has requested an investigation. She's the state attorney. She's I guess Baltimore City state attorney. And she leads the state attorney's office. Okay. And she has said that she wants the local Fox News channel, right? So your local news. She wants her local Baltimore news network investigated because she doesn't like Tucker Carlson, who's on Fox News Network, the national cable news network, which has nothing to do with the local Fox affiliate. They just both have the name Fox in it, right? I mean, Fox owns certain networks, right? Certain channels. The Fox Corporation owns certain channels, local channels. And there's a certain news agency that uses that particular channel to broadcast their news. And so they're a Fox affiliate, what you'd call a Fox affiliate. And so they're very, very vaguely affiliated with the same company that Fox News is affiliated with, but only in the most cursory kind of way. They have nothing to do with Tucker Carlson. They have absolutely nothing to do with Tucker Carlson. But this idiot doesn't know the difference between a local news station and Fox News Network, the national cable news network. So she's asked for an investigation into the local Fox News channel in Baltimore because she doesn't like Tucker Carlson. What an idiot. Honestly, this is completely crazy. So let me read this. The senior Republican on the Federal Communications Commission criticized the Democrat Baltimore City State Attorney's recent request for an investigation into a local Fox affiliate as an attack on free speech. Brendan Carr, the top Republican on the Federal Communications Commission, condemned Baltimore City State Attorney. That's a weird thing. Baltimore City State Attorney. I don't understand that. Marilyn Mosby's request, saying it was part of the broader effort by the Democrats to censor news coverage and political speech that they don't like. Carr demanded the commission dismiss Mosby's complaint by the end of the day with prejudice. Yeah, I agree with him. Because she's a moron. Let's see here. The state's attorney's office, led by Democrat Marilyn Mosby, has launched a chilling and direct attack on free speech and journalistic freedom, Carr said in a statement on Monday. Man, I wish it was that easy to stop Facebook from censoring people or to stop YouTube from censoring people. Man, it's unbelievable to me that the censors over at Facebook and YouTube actually have more political power than politicians, right? A politician obviously can't go in and just stop journalists from reporting stories, right? They can't do that because we're covered by First Amendment rights. But Facebook and YouTube can do that. They can do that. And if the only outlet that is viable for me is YouTube, and I'm trying to report the news, and I can't because YouTube has censored me, then they actually have more power than the federal government, because the federal government can't censor me, but YouTube can. And even if it's ridiculous. Like, we need to fix this, guys. All right. The complaint her office filed with the FCC asks the commission to censor a newsroom simply because the journalists are doing their constitutionally protected jobs and shining a light on the work of the state's attorney. Oh, so they're investigating the state's attorney's office, apparently. That's funny. Well, then that's... But she did mention Tucker Carlson. Let me get into it. Invoking the power of the state to silence journalists for unfavorable coverage strikes at the very heart of the First Amendment, he continued. Last week, Mosby asked the FCC to investigate local Fox affiliate WBFF TV over their alleged distortion of the news and bias against her in a letter to acting FCC chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel. Okay, so she is actually targeting them because she doesn't like them specifically. I thought it was only because of Tucker Carlson when I first read the first part of this story. But Mosby alleged that the outlet's coverage of her was more negative than other outlets' coverage, and that it presented a physical threat to her, making it a violation of FCC rules. So if you cover a politician in a negative way, that presents a physical threat. That presents a physical threat because people might see that you're doing a bad job and want to hurt you physically. Well, maybe don't do such a bad job. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I do think that if government officials do their job poorly enough, there are some people out there who will want to hurt them. But that doesn't mean that the media has an obligation to hide stories about politicians' bad behavior. The news reporters aren't creating an environment in which this person's going to get hurt. The person's doing it themselves. There's crazy people in the world. So maybe don't put your life in danger by publicly doing things that that are terrible, like what Cuomo did, right? Where he put all these at-risk older people, people with a COVID that he put into the nursing homes and put all these at-risk older people into danger, and it ended up killing a bunch of people. I'm sure there's tons of people that want to hurt Andrew Cuomo, but that's not because the news reported about what bad things that he did. That's because he did some really bad things. Let's have a look here. The coverage by WBFF represents acts that are not merely against the public interest. They also represent acts that are inflammatory against the safety of an elected official. Mosby's communication director, Zy Richardson, wrote in a letter. God, these people are idiots. Richardson said that WBFF's ties to Fox News, the two are owned by the same parent company, but they don't show the same editorial staff, is another reason the FCC should open an investigation. He specifically mentioned Fox News host Tucker Carlson's show, which he said consistently presents white supremacy views. I've watched Tucker Carlson, I think probably since its inception. I've never heard him ever say anything that was a white supremacist view. Why does everybody always say that about Tucker Carlson? Okay, of course they do. He's a Republican. He's a conservative. He's got to be a white supremacist. But Carr noted that Mosby's request was particularly disturbing, given that much of the WBFF's coverage, which Mosby alleged was biased, was about an ongoing federal grand jury investigation into her office's potential illegal financial dealings. Wow, a corrupt Democrat politician? I am shocked, you guys. Whoa, I did not see that coming. A politician who's corrupt and a Democrat? This is... I've never heard of such a thing. He added that WBFF has recently won 4 regional Edward R. Murray Awards for journalistic excellence. One of the stories to receive an award was about Mosby. That's hilarious. The state's attorney's office complaint alleges that there is troubling, abhorrent, and outright dangerous conduct going on here, Carr said. They're correct in this respect, but it's the conduct of the state's attorney's office that is troubling, abhorrent, and outright dangerous. The Radio Television Digital News Association echoed Carr's statement Monday. The organization sent a letter to the FCC asking it to reject Mosby's request. Local journalists across the country have a constitutionally guaranteed obligation to serve their communities by seeking and reporting the truth, often by reporting on the public activities of public officials. Well, this is kind of a weird word to add. Reporting on the private activities of public officials is totally legitimate as well, but whatever. Okay, RTDNA Executive Director Dan Shelley said in a statement, the FCC and Mosby's office did not respond to a request for comment. Yeah, so this woman is basically just trying to get out of... she's trying to stop news organizations from reporting about her criminal activity by saying that they're putting her life in danger and that Tucker Carlson is a white supremacist. Oh my goodness. That could not be funnier to me. I just think that's hilarious. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next story, shall we? All right, so let me see here. What do we got? DOJ calls Durham investigation partisan silliness. All right, so now Biden's DOJ is trying to end the Durham investigation, which has not gone anywhere because presumably, I mean, there has obviously been some kind of obstruction of justice going on here in some way. It's really weird to me that, like, Toxic Masculinity, weekdays 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.